Hi everyone, welcome to the intuitive card reading for the week of the 20th through the 26th of May. Welcome. You guys know the drill. Please like this video. Please share it with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the week. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed. And same 4 decks. I'm pretty sure different order from last week. Definitely shuffled and, ready to go. Any comments, any questions, anything at all, please put it down below. Feedback is always welcome. Just be kind. And that's it, guys. Let's jump right into the reading. Let's go for it. I do appreciate the comments, guys, and I see the comments, and I actually made a comment last week. So, okay, let's jump right into it, guys. Let's see what we need. All right. Oh gosh, I always mess up this word. Dynamicism. Being dynamic is basically what this is saying. Okay, so what do we need to be dynamic? What does it mean? It means to be unique. It means to be out there. It means to be putting yourself out there. It's showing people who you really are, being a little bit more, yes, authentic, but being seen more often. So basically that's what it's saying that we need. We need to kind of get and put ourselves out there. So not too much to explore there. God, why can't I speak today? Maybe because I got like 4 hours of sleep, but not too much more to elaborate there. So let's move on to the next. Okay, action need. We have thinker. Okay, so we have, this is always about more logical things. The 44 is jumping out to me. Interesting that we have, is that 43? Yeah, okay, so we have 4. 4 is foundational energy. It could also be, obviously, angelic energy. You know, 4 is not the only, I know there's angel numbers in general, but 4 is usually the number associated with our angelic realm. But I do feel like it is connected more to foundation. So it definitely does feel like we're building this foundation, and that's kind of what we need to take action towards. I'm not shocked by this. If anybody follows my dailies, and even if you've been following the weeklies, like we have had so many, like this energy is really pushing us forward when we feel like we're not ready, but it almost kind of seems like as the weeks go on, we're feeling more, more and more ready, but we need to be taking those steps forward. And so, guys, we were in limbo for a long time. We were stuck for a long time. So this moving energy is good. And obviously it's not going to happen like that. It's going to happen over time. But we are starting to kind of build a new foundation. But we actually have to start. That's basically what Spirit is saying. So it's the thinker card, right? And basically it's saying that we need to take, so it's under action needed. So it's saying we need to take action, but we need to do it in a more logical way. That's what the thinker is always about. So actually more practical way, putting things into action, as far as, practicality, making a plan, and actually doing it in a way that's more, logical or structured than it is necessarily, working off of a feeling. Okay, it kind of has to be planned out. So it's really going to be a good week to really start putting those pieces together, and the foundation that you want to build, you have to start actually putting it on paper, not not necessarily just acting on things from like an emotional side or an intuitive side, but definitely from a more structured written plan of some kind. So you need to be clear about it. That's the other thing. Okay, let's see what issues are. Engineer, we have in shadow, reliance on mechanism. I laugh because this is actually saying our issue here is being logical. Okay, so it's funny. I'm laughing because the engineer mind is more of that mechanical mind, is more of that logical mind, is more of that structure type mind. How do things work, et cetera, et cetera. So the fact that it came in upside down in the shadow under issue right after the thinker card is saying like we need to have a more logical approach to how we want to go forward. We're having issues with that. That's as simple as what the engineer is saying. It's saying we're having issues being in that archetype, being in that role, playing that role. And so, it's going to be an issue for us. So this might mean a couple of things. This actually might mean that we are, guys, I don't want to say too emotional, but I want to say are letting our emotions lead. there's something kind of going on. This could be for anything that's kind of going on in your life. Because we have that 44 there, it makes me think that it has something to do with whatever the thing is that has knocked you down in the past and that you have to rebuild, you know, and start a new foundation on. That's really what it's talking about, but it could really apply to anything, relationships, your health and wellness, a new job, or where you want to go in your career, family life, etc. Okay, so we're having trouble logically picturing it because we are leading emotionally. And you guys know I'm a big proponent of feeling your feelings. So this, to me, this doesn't offend me, and hopefully it doesn't offend anybody, but anybody else out there. But this is because you need both, right? This is what Spirit is saying. It's saying, like, maybe we were in our feels for like a really long time, but now in order to move forward, we need to have a more logical approach. Let's keep going. Let's see if we get any more clues here. Challenge, peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. Okay, so our ego is getting a little bit in the way here as well. It might have something to do with what I was just talking about, but it definitely feels like this week we want to be right about something. We really want to stand our ground, and we really want to die on that hill, basically, with something. And it definitely does feel challenging because it could be part of why we also can't, you know, move forward, is we want to be right about a particular thing. Could be in a relationship, could be work related. I'm not getting anything specific. So again, it could be whatever you've been dealing with the last 4 years, right? But it's definitely, we're still butting heads, and it's still and it's under challenge. So it's saying that it might get resolved, it might not, okay? But this might be one of the reasons why you necessarily can't move forward, because you can't necessarily, I don't want to say you can't forgive, but you can't let it go. You can't let something go you need to be right about, or you feel like, you know, you want to die on that hill, essentially. That's the feeling that I'm getting from Spirit. What's actually changing? What will change this week? We have compassion. Okay, very interesting, coming after the Peacekeeper card about this issue that we have, that we, you know, we want to be in our egos. We want to be right, right? And so this might, so because we're changing to more compassionate mindset, to feel more compassion for other people, this might help. If it has something to do with forgiving, like I mentioned, it might help. But it definitely does feel like we're moving into a more compassionate mindset. And what that means is that we are seeing other people's perspectives, and we are just having more compassion for people's experiences and ourselves too, because this could be self-compassion as well. So another word to say this, and way to say this, is grace. Okay, a lot of people don't exactly know what that means, but I liken it to compassion. And so giving ourselves grace, giving people the benefit of the doubt, giving people the space that they need, for error, you know, giving them room for error, kind of deal. So, you know, seeing their humanity. Okay, all of those things. So it's funny that they're both next to each other, a little conflicting there. Maybe, I'm just going to go off on a limb and say maybe some of you guys are going to get past that ego this week, but it is under challenge. It is coming through very strongly. So, you know, even though we change into this more compassionate type mindset, this viewpoint, you know, maybe it'll be the start of kind of changing that, you know, letting your ego down a little bit. But if you can't get there in a week, like, it's not a big deal. Like, you know, that's kind of a big ask, if you ask me, is that we can't all of a sudden, you know, maybe it's something that you've been. Guys, I'm very righteous, so I totally understand. Like, I'm not yes, I am calling you guys out, but I'm also calling myself out, okay? I'm part of the collective as well. So I think I know what this might be talking about. I'll come back to this reading midweek to kind of, you know, refresh my memory, but, and see if it resonates, but, as the days go on. But, sometimes it's so hard to kind of let something go where you know that you're quote unquote right about it, you know? And so, I do feel the compassion already kind of coming in. But is it enough? That's the question. So I think you guys get what I'm saying. Let's move on. You guys tell me, is it enough? Put it down below. Okay, focused, regeneration. Love this card. You guys know this is probably my second favorite card, besides the warrior card. There's a couple warrior cards in each of these decks. And this regeneration is about building back better. What do we have here? Another 4, okay? And 4 and 6 is building back a foundation. 4 is the foundation. 6 is home, your stability, basically your responsibility, your family, right? So we have regeneration. So it's saying, how do we want to build this back? Doesn't have to be family. That's just, I'm just throwing it out there. It could be, and family could kind of look a few different ways. So could home, right? This could also mean that maybe some of you guys have moved to a new area and now it's time to really rebuild there. Or this could even be because it's regeneration, you move back somewhere, right? It could also mean that. So basically this is about saying building back better, either the same or better, right? So you're regenerating. So focus on that. That's really what the focus for the week is, which makes sense, but you have to do it from a logical point of view. That's what the action needed to say. Okay, and then also bring in your uniqueness, okay? So you're coming into this new energy that is allowing you to kind of be more dynamic, right, than you have been in the last 4 years, I will say. We're moving into this new era of yours, this new cycle of yours, and this new life, as I sometimes say. And we need to build it back, and you can build it back the same, or you can build it back better. This could be entrepreneurs out there, guys. If you're revisiting an old business idea, this is a really good indication that it will work out this time, as long as you put your logical cap on, as long as you do it in a way that feels more grounded. This is a great like indication that something that you have, like revisiting something, could it work again, because you have this new perspective, and you can do it in a more logical, structured, and prepared, practical way. I know that's a lot coming from here, but it's really, really, that energy is really strong. So I just want to make it really clear to you guys. So that's really great. So it's saying focus on that. That's definitely a focus for the week. Storyteller, reflect, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Okay. You guys know sometimes reflect is a good journal prompt. This is literally saying, like, write down your stories, or tell your stories. Tell some of your stories. It's time to rehash and go through what you've just been through. Not just, could even be stories from like years ago or whatever. It's kind of like retelling the story of your life, and kind of like reflecting on that, and kind of putting meaning to it, and just in general, just reflecting on it. Like, it almost just feels like like you've been through like survival mode, and then now you're like coming out of survival mode, but maybe you like did move, maybe you're on the move for like a long time or something like that, and now you're settling down, and now you're like, whoa, what the hell, like what the hell was what just happened, now I need to reflect on why I did what I did, in survival mode, basically, or these last few years, or whatever, whatever journey that you were just on. Okay. Maybe the last couple of years, who knows, but it definitely feels like I'm Spirit is referencing like a long ass journey, basically. But yeah, this is really about telling the story, but you have to, in order to tell the story, you have to look at it, right? And you have to kind of rehash it. So definitely reflect on that for sure. It's almost like it's saying, like, know where you've been, collect your thoughts, put it together, ask yourself, all the hard questions about it. And you need to have that to kind of move forward. That's what it feels like for me. Okay, responsibilities. Stay rooted and grounded. Okay, I'm not shocked, because we have that logical card. Grounded is part of that. Stay very grounded. Stay, I almost said stay in your head, but I don't know if that's accurate to say. But it's really saying, like, don't lead by emotions, lead by facts, lead by accuracy, lead by your groundedness, by a level-headedness. Don't necessarily make any decisions that are really based on temporary emotions. That's what it's saying. So that's your responsibility this week. Like, stay grounded. If you need, I feel like this is coming through, and so this tells me that some of you guys out there in the collective need to hear this. You don't have to make a decision right away. Okay, part of this groundedness and being rooted, it's saying that you can have a second to think about it. Okay, there's no urgency here. Okay, it's about making smart decisions in a, because usually when something is reactive, it's emotion led, right? It's emotion it's coming from an emotional place. We don't want to do that. That's not what Spirit is asking us to do this week. So it's her responsibility. If you need a minute before making a decision, don't rush into anything. But again, another indication, and we're going to struggle with this because of that engineer came in the shadow with, we're going to struggle with our more logical selves. Probably because, yes, obviously, if you guys are watching this, most of you guys are super intuitive as it is. So it feels like we're going against what we naturally know. That's what it feels like. Sometimes it feels like that for me when I'm trying to make, a logical decision. But the positive thing is they should both align, but basically Spirit is trying to say, like, just go by the facts. Okay, just be like more level-headed with it. Okay, money and finances, exhilaration. Okay, so this is something that lights you up, that exhilarates you, that is, I don't want to say a fantasy, but something exciting. So it's under money, finances, and career. So this is amazing. So this could be a new career venture, opportunity of some kind, role in general, new ways to make money coming in that are exciting to you, that are exhilarating, that are finally, because again, I know I speak a lot about the survival mode, but I can't help but feel that we're all closing out like a 3-4 year cycle, starting from the freaking pandemic, okay? Where, we haven't been living our best lives, okay? Let's just put it this way. If you have out there in the collective, you are the anomaly. God bless. And sending lots of love to you, but some of us not so much. Okay, so this is like basically saying, Spirit is saying that you actually have it's almost like you're out of survival mode and you actually have choice, and you actually have an exhilarating opportunity, something that really lights you up, that feels most aligned to you out of anything in the last few years. And so it's really, really exciting. So I see nothing but abundance here for the week, and it's all good here. Let me move on. I think you guys understand. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Building blocks. Haha. Building blocks is, I know there's no 4 on that card, okay? But building blocks is really about building something. It's pretty straightforward. I use oracle cards for some of these. And they're not always literal. That feels literal to me. Okay, basically it's saying you're building something, okay, which we already know, because like I said, I swear that 44 jumped out at me up there, okay, with that thinker card. It's saying building a foundation. How do we build a foundation? We have to build from that foundation first, right? And so we have to know the foundation to build on the foundation. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So, surprise, we figure out the foundation, we get anchored in some type of way. So the other thing I do want to say, and also here, because we have the stay rooted and grounded and more of the logical approach, it does feel like there's more stability coming in for us, okay? More stability, okay? And that's really kind of what we're looking for here. So, and that's what I kind of mean by foundation. It's like we're building that stability for our next cycle. And then we're actually building it, right? We're not just finding the foundation, we're actually building it. And that's a surprise, because something tells me some of you guys are out there thinking like, well, I don't know what my foundation is. I still feel up in the air. I still feel in between. I don't feel as rooted and grounded as this reading is saying. Take it day by day, but this is saying you're going to surprise yourself with something that kind of presents itself that will help you build the blocks, not just have the foundation. So basically I'm trying to say, because it's under surprise, it might happen quickly and pretty fast, and things will click, and that's a really positive thing. Friends. Okay, I got some hair here. Thief. Okay, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Okay, I love that. This is actually in the light, so don't freak out. I don't think anybody's stealing from you this week. I actually do feel like it's interesting that it's saying wealth. Basically it's saying that nobody can take things from you. Okay, you have, and that might be also part of foundation, right? Is that you finally have this foundation of what you're worth. So the people around you can't take from you. Like there's nothing that they can take from you. And we've been getting readings in the past maybe few weeks now about building more confidence. So this feels like a confident card, meaning like there's nothing that somebody can take from me. I am whole, I'm complete, and my uniqueness, my dynamicism, I hope I'm saying that right, can never be stolen from me, can never be taken from me. And so you have this new attitude around your friend group or people that you surround yourself with. And it's a really, really healthy way of looking at relationships, which I'm happy to see because, like I said, we had some wonky kind of weird energy with friends coming in and out, all this weird stuff. But this is basically saying, like, you know what you're worth. You know, a lot of people talk about worth and stuff when it comes to romantic relationships, but friends are just as good. You know, it's all relationships are important. So I love this. So if you feel like in the past, you know, you've had friends that maybe are more takers, and that you feel like you did have maybe more of a codependent relationship with them, or an unhealthy one, or energy vampires, or whatever, it definitely does feel like you have this newfound confidence where you're saying, nobody can take anything from me. I know what I'm worth. I know who I am. And, you know, if that is that, you know, so there's a lot of confidence coming from there. So, pretty cool. Okay, romantic connection, Spirit Fox, trust your talents in changing times. Okay, so it definitely does feel like Spirit Fox is always about bringing talents and skills to the table in a fast changing environment. So basically something tells me that, and I don't feel anything on the more negative side, like it doesn't feel like it's chaotic or nasty or toxic or anything like that, but it feels like something might be changing within your romantic relationship, and you have to be quick to find a solution, right? You need to be quick to make things work, or figure things out, or something like that. Maybe you're traveling this week with your significant other and something happens with travel plans, don't they always? And you have to do like a swift change in, airplanes, or I don't know, whatever. But it seems like you have to be quick at something, okay? And so there's kind of something there, not positive, not negative, just neutral. It's just Spirit saying, look out for that. Be on your toes, basically. Okay, important. What is important? All of this stuff is important. That's what I would argue. But we have protection. So basically, this is saying protection from a higher power. So basically, just knowing that, and I think that's part of the rooted and the grounded situation, where it's saying like you are rooted in a better sense of self. I'm getting also from this reading, obviously. You're dynamic and you know it, basically. And you need to act accordingly, all right? So basically it's saying that you're protected. Okay, where was I going with that? Guys, anytime that it goes both ways. This is why, and to be honest, sometimes I think this is the biggest difference between being religious and spiritual, and not knocking either. I happen to be spiritual. I think most of you guys know that. Is that I don't believe in a hierarchy of maybe that's, how do I say this? I believe in here's a better way to say it. I believe in a co-creation, okay, and that's how I'm reading, of the universe with us. Universe, God, divine, whatever. You use it interchangeably. And so that's how we are cultivating a relationship, but also it's a reflection of the relationship to ourselves, right? So basically it's saying you're worthy because the universe says that you're worthy, that you are just built that way, right? Not says, but it just is, where it's like, you don't have to do anything. It just is. There's no argument. There's no, well, what if I, ego comes in, well, what if I do this and what if I do that? Like, no, there's no changing universal law. Like, it just is. And so, to me, that's kind of the foundational principle, speaking of foundation, of confidence, is that nothing that could happen on this earthly plane could actually take away how amazing you actually are. I actually didn't mean to make this into a pep talk, but it's true. I mean, at least I tried to speak the truth and what I know to be truth with a capital T, okay? So we are protected, right? And that is just what it is, right? And so that's how it is a mirror to us, right? So it's important that you understand that as you go through the world and as you go through, because, okay, I just talked about stability. Yeah, outward stability, it would be great. If you've been, evicted 10 times in a row, that's not going to feel great, but if you can find home within yourself, any place that you get evicted, then that will alleviate some of the suffering that you might be in, okay? I'm going off on a soapbox here. So basically what I'm trying to say is it's important to remember what you really are, okay? And that is a co-creation with the universe, and you have been created in that image, so all universal law applies, okay? And so basically it means that you're protected because that just is, okay? And so to look to the universe for that. Hopefully that wasn't super confusing. It was kind of all over the place a little bit there, but it's true, okay? So you are protected, and you are one with the universe. And something tells me that we really do kind of, it's important to really hone in on that, because we do have that exhilaration card in money and finances, and so we're doing something a little bit more exciting, and in turn, by the way, that follows the law of passion and purpose, right? So when we do things that light us up, the universe in turn provides us with finances, okay? I don't care what anybody says. I know I think of manifesting a little bit differently. I just see manifesting as aligning, okay? So that means working with the universe. If we work with what feels good, we will get what we want, okay? To me, that's manifesting, right? I also do believe in the thoughts and the feelings and the doing. I totally get that. But the way that I see it, is the way that I mentioned earlier. But anyway, so just know that you're working with the universe. That's important to know. It will be important to know for money and finances. So if something tells me, it clicks, okay? All right. I think I spent too much time on that, but you guys, the universe is clearly trying to tell us something here. Okay, health and wellness. Okay, so we have fork in the road. So, okay, this is telling me you have to do two decisions. Remember what I said, though, about more logical, more structured. You don't have to jump into any decisions. That's the first thing that kind of came up here. So when it has to do with your health and wellness, whether you are on medication and maybe you want to be switching medication, or maybe you want to go on medication again after Big Pharma really screwed you. Not throwing my personal stuff in here, but or do you want to, because guys, health and wellness, your spiritual journey, your spiritual wellness, your mental wellness, your emotional, physical, it's all connected, okay? So anything applies here. But you have a decision to make of whether you want to go this way or this or that way. Usually with fork in the road, and it applies here, it doesn't feel like one is a positive decision or a negative decision, or a right decision or a wrong decision, okay? It just feels like, and that actually might be why a lot of logical stuff is kind of coming up, because it's saying like, what's the most logical approach to the situation? Because either way, it's still intuitively aligned. So it's almost like, I don't want to say, it's not like you can make a bad decision, but it's kind of like that. It's basically saying just make the most logical decision that you can, or the decision that makes the most sense, okay? Like it's not going to hinder your progress, or, take you down a dark path or something like that. Like it doesn't feel that extreme is basically what I'm trying to say. So you do have a decision to make when it comes to your wellness. And so again, apply what we've been kind of feeling, that logical energy coming through for that. Let's see. And then overall outcome. Okay. Avenger. Speaking of righteousness, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Okay. Interesting that this is coming through. So you guys know the movie, The Avengers, right? Basically, they come through and seek balance, seek justice. So the fact that it's actually coming up, and then we have the challenge up here about the letting go of the need to be right. How do I say this? It's coming up in the positive here. So basically, it's saying Spirit is not asking you to ditch your principles. Okay, Spirit is not asking you to be a doormat. Spirit is not asking you to bottle everything up so you can be abused. Okay, that is, no. Okay, that's not loving. That's not what the universe is built on. Okay, but it's saying that you can balance things and get the justice that's deserved while still having that compassion. Okay, if it's from ego, you have to see it from two different lenses. If it's from ego and you really just want to be right, it's going to be very conflicting and it's going to be a challenge. Okay, if it's for justice, which to me falls on the love side because we must take accountability. That's part of love. Okay, you can't just blame things on the, continue to blame things on the other person in the relationship. Guys, disclaimer here, excluding abusive relationships. Okay, I saw the P. Diddy video that came out this week. Okay, no. We're not talking about that. Okay, that's completely different. Okay, so outside of relationships with like narcissistic music moguls. Okay, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's saying, are you doing it from a place of love or are you doing it from a place of ego? That's really what you need to ask. Isn't that the one thing that we ask all the time, guys? Right? And so, like, what are your intentions behind it? All right, so it's not asking you to throw away your principles. And I find it very interesting that it's coming over the overall outcome because I do find it to be a challenge this week. You just have to make sure that you're coming from it from a loving place. Like if somebody has wronged you and you really want to repair the relationship from a loving perspective, I don't see anything wrong with not, I don't want to say not apologizing, but making sure you're heard and making sure that, you feel good about continuing the relationship, that the other person takes accountability and that kind of thing. So it's saying it's not, just be careful with that, like balancing those scales of justice and balancing, and coming from an intentional place, coming from and the intention being love, right? But overall, this reading is really positive, guys. Like, I don't even see that as like a negative and that's under challenge. I just see the biggest issue, and I'm not gonna lie, it came through like pretty strongly, is that we're gonna have a really hard time using our logic this week for one reason or the other. It'll be different for each of you guys, but otherwise, this seems like it's almost like, I wanna say like a therapeutic week. And also that confidence is bleeding through and it's pretty obvious. So, be that, the weird person, be your dynamic person, weird being a positive thing, by the way, I'm using it in a positive way. But everything looks like really, like we're starting to really get into our new lives and it's amazing. And we're going to have an amazing week. And we did a lot of work in the last 4 years. So be proud of yourselves. So, all right, guys. I'm going to end the reading because I did go on a soapbox here in the important section. So I hope it was helpful, guys. Have a wonderful week. See you next week. Bye-bye.